like death warmed over.
Think that'll do it, no? Think that little dab of color will make you young again? Is that what Elliott Dorn will think?
Go to hell.
He'll be here any minute, no? He's young, he's handsome, and he's attracted to you. Or is he?
Yes, he is. He sees something in me that you can't see, Owen. Because all you can see is her, that red-headed tramp.
Oh, I see. Is that why you decided to invite him over? To spite me for leaving you?
No.
Oh, Nola, don't believe all those things that he said to you on the soundstage. He's just flattering the stars. Just buttering up a rich old lady who he thinks might possibly make him a star.
You're wrong. He likes mature women. He married one.
Yes. And look what happened to that marriage. It ended, Nola, just as ours did. Now, forget Mr. Dorn. Be content to grow old gracefully.
Graceful? Is that what you call your fling with that girl?
Grow old, Nola.
Yes, I'll grow old. Sooner than you think, Owen. Am I old enough now, darling? Your Deborah thinks so. Just a moment. Please come in, Elliott.
Nola, your brief vacation did you a world of good. Lovelier than before. Thank you. There we are. I meant to come by sooner to convey my condolences on the death of Eddie Bourne.
Oh, yes. It was a terrible thing, wasn't it? Poor Eddie. He worked so hard on this movie, behind the scenes, and then he dies.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
Ironic, isn't it? That his death should come in the very place where the film was made.
That's even more ironic when you think of the way he died. In an inferno. Perhaps I shouldn't say this, but I trust you are aware of the publicity that resulted.
Oh, yes, it was ghastly. Well, I suppose we have to be grateful for anything that generates public interest in the movie, but all those terrible stories about the final curse of Mansion of the Damned, no, I couldn't bear to read them.
Well, it still won't do the picture any harm at the box office, if it's finally released. Do you have any prediction on the date?
It's difficult to say. I suppose you know that my husband is on the West Coast now. He's getting the film edited and arranging for its distribution.
Well, I wish him the best of luck.
He's not the only one who's gone out there, you know.
I gather your son accompanied him. Well, I suppose the director should have some say in the final cut of the film, shouldn't he?
Yes, Brian is out there with him now. So is Paige. In fact, those two are married now.
Married?
Mm-hmm.
For heaven's sake.
Well, of course, they're not really brother and sister, even if they do have the same family name. No, it seems they fell in love, and that very often leads to marriage, doesn't it?
Well, so many roads that seem to lead to marriage. So many things. Unfortunately, just as many roads seem to lead to separation and divorce.
Yes, unfortunately.
Nola, I hope you don't mind if I ask you a personal question.
If you're going to ask me about my marriage, Elliott, well, I think you already know that it, too, has come to the end of the road.
I admit I have heard rumors. I even saw one or two items in the local gossip columns.
Mm-hmm. For once, the gossip is completely true. Now, Owen and I have decided to go our separate ways. Oh, it wasn't that much of a surprise to either one of us. I think we both knew that it was going to happen sooner or later. Owen is a few years younger than I, you know, but he was approaching those so-called dangerous years.
Dangerous years. I would have called them glorious years if I could have passed them with Nola Patterson. Yeah, I'm sorry. I suppose I shouldn't have said that. Do you mind if I refill?
Oh, help yourself.
You're not having any?
I'm an alcoholic, Elliott.
Oh, come on. I don't believe that.
Well, I'm an alcoholic, which means I don't drink anything at all. Although I must admit these past 2 weeks have tempted me greatly. It isn't easy to see your whole world disintegrate in front of your eyes without wanting to ease the pain a bit.
You're an amazing woman, Nola.
Some people would say I'm a failure. Some people would say Owen was right to leave me.
Well, I'd say he was a fool to do it. And this time I'm not apologizing for my words.
Well, the truth is, it was Owen who failed. He couldn't resist the first woman who made him feel that he was younger than his years. It was his failure, not mine.
Well, maybe there just comes a time in a marriage when a marriage just can no longer work.
But he'll regret what he's done, Elliott. He thinks he can justify his selfishness because of Brian, but he can't.
Brian?
And she knew what she was about, I can promise you. She knew exactly what she was doing from the minute she walked into this house. She saw the kind of man Owen was, saw his weakness, and all he could see was her red hair and sparkling green eyes. Well, we'll see what he thinks of her when he comes back, and... Now it's my turn to apologize.
Oh, not at all. Not at all, no. I know you're upset. It must be terrible for you to live in this big, empty house. You must be very lonely, Nola. I can understand that. I'm in that same big, empty boat myself.
I must say, I'm glad to hear that Draper has calmed down a little bit about this. I must say, I think he behaved excessively about losing that job in New York.
Margot, it's because the job was so important to him. Besides, I think it was why or how he lost the job that really hurt him so much. Oh, speaking of the devil, he just walked into the bed.
Is that Margot?
Oh, well, yeah, it is.
Just the person I want to see. Margot, I've been going over the accounts. I'm going to be able to repay you that loan, a third of that loan you made us. I'm just sorry it can't be the full amount.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Draper, put that in the bank where you can buy something you need for the baby.
I'm not neglecting the baby, Margot. Look, we have hospitalization and plenty of cash around for a nurse.
It's all so unnecessary.
No, Margot, it is necessary. Now, look, you made us a loan. We're going to repay it. I mean, we should be paying you interest.
Well, you were the one who chose to call it a loan. As far as I was concerned, I wanted it to be an outright gift.
Outright? I don't think you could call it that.
Well, all right, darling. I have said I was sorry for the way I handled it. I thought you would have forgiven me by now.
Well, I do forgive you, Margot, but I'm still going to repay you.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you about that. By any chance, does my daughter want to speak to me again?
Well, she looks pretty tired, Margot.
Well, I suppose I can believe that. I mean, after all, she was at the studio at 7:30 this morning. Why don't you tell her to go to bed, and I'll see her at the studio tomorrow.
All right. Good night. Your mother wants you to go to bed. And so do I.
Oh? That's nice. You know, you were nice to Margot.
Well, I am doing my best.
You know, I'm actually rather proud of you.
Why? Because I was able to scrape up $12,000? You should be.
Well, yeah, because of that, and because you were actually trying to be nice to Margot. Aside from the fact that she has come between us a couple of times, and because of how you're taking it about that other lawyer, that inferior lawyer, if I might add, getting that job in New York. And possibly just because you're Draper.
Well, then, I take it you have no complaints.
Oh, well, let's not push it. You still pout just like a child, and you don't forgive people easily. You carry grudges. Realize you do that?
Don't make me sound very appealing.
You appeal to me. I know something else. You're kind. Really, you are very kind towards people. You've got a lot of kindness in your heart, and that's possibly because you're hurt so easily. You know how important it is to be kind.
Well, I am going to be kind to you right now. I'm going to make you go to bed.
Oh, yeah? I know how you can be even kinder.
Well, you make our new police chief sound hard as nails, Nancy, at least from this opening paragraph. Sounds like he leaned on this drug pusher pretty hard.
Honey, he's a very intense person. And I must say I go along with his point of view because, people like that Benny Hayes, people like him, they're making fortunes on the misery of others. I mean, it's horrible. As a matter of fact, I had a talk with Dad about that just this afternoon. And, he thinks that we ought to do something about it.
What does the editor-in-chief want to do? Double the size of the police force?
No. He just thinks that, we might do a series about it. In fact, I suggested it might be an investigative type of series.
Good idea. Who does an investigative series?
I can't hear you, honey.
Nancy? Not an answer to my question.
Oh, what question?
You know what I'm talking about. Who is going to do this investigation?
Well, I am the crime reporter for the news, and this is very serious crime we're talking about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'd just like to know your definition of investigation. You mean talking to narcotic squads, detectives, government agents, doing library research, that kind of thing?
Yes, of course, that's part of it.
Uh-huh. And what's the part you're not telling me about?
Well, honey, how can a reporter do a worthwhile story of this type without getting to know the people who are really involved in it?
You mean the pushers themselves?
Yeah, I thought it would be terrific if I could make contact with one of these people and he could tell me from his point of view. I mean, why he does what he does, what he gets out of it, what he thinks about the people he deals with.
I can tell you that right now. The pusher's in it for the money. And what he thinks about his customers is zero. He couldn't care less if they lived or died.
No, honey, I know that you're thinking about me and my possibility of getting involved with a bunch of criminals and maybe getting hurt. Please believe me, I am not that brave.
Then what are you talking about?
Well, first of all, I'm not talking about hard drugs, honey. I'm talking about the pill pushers. Did you know that there's an enormous traffic of pills among the middle and upper income people in this city? Honey, I've been thinking of simply getting in the market.
What do you mean by getting in the market?
Be a customer.
Pretend to be a pill freak? Go looking for these criminals under the pretense of buying?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, honey, please, no, don't look like that. I told you I'm not going to do anything risky. Knight, please. Don't say you object.
April?
These flowers are beautiful. They're the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my whole life.
They're not as beautiful as you are. And speaking about beautiful, have you seen our daughter?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Yes, I just came back from the nursery. She's beautiful, Ava. She's a little angel. I expected her to have little wings.
Oh, no. I've always heard they leave their wings behind them in heaven where they came from. Oh, Draper, I'm so happy. I've never been this happy in my whole life.
Shouldn't you take it easy?
Why? Why? I feel wonderful. I had the easiest birth in the whole world. I didn't feel a thing.
I'm glad.
I'm glad, too. I'm also glad it was a girl. That's what you wanted, isn't it? That's what we had.
And here she is.
Baby. Our baby.
I'm sorry. You all right?
Oh, yeah. I just had the most beautiful dream.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb you. Go right back to it.
No, listen. We had the baby. It was a girl. Think it's a prediction?
Well, I think it's a 50-50 chance.
I don't know. I don't know how good I am at predicting things in my dreams.
Yeah.
Oh, look at her. She's beautiful. I think she's perfect.
Yeah, with any luck at all, she's going to turn out to be just like you.
Time for her to go now, honey.
Oh, no. Bye, sweetie. See you soon.
I have to go, too. To be in court in half an hour.
Oh, you too.
I love you, too. I'll come back and see you later.
Promise? Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Draper. Bye, my darling. Strange. Train? There's no train around here. Who are you? I'm sorry. Sir, you must have the wrong room. Who are you looking for? What do you want here? What do you want?
Yeah?
I wonder if you could help me. I'm having a bit of trouble with my keys.
Hey, why don't you call a Boy Scout Grandma?
Oh,
huh?
please, won't you help me? My hands are a little stiff. It's this weather, I suppose. One gets all kinds of aches and pains in this weather.
Okay, there you go.
Oh,
There
thank
you go, Grandma.
Thank you. You're
Okay.
very kind.
Good.
In fact, I've heard you can be even more helpful to people.
You heard what?
Oh, well, you know how people talk. I mean, I've seen you around the neighborhood, young man, and I've heard people say you can help people with certain problems.
Yeah, what kind of problems?
Oh, well, problems like mine, for instance. You see, I'm not very well, and I have all kinds of medical problems, but I can't seem to be able to get all the prescriptions I need. Do you understand?
Maybe you should call Medicare, Grandma.
Oh, but I need so many different kinds of medicines, and so many of them. You know the way those people are. And I wondered if you might be able to help me.
Well, medicines cost money, you know.
Oh, I have money.
Yeah?
Oh, yes, my dear husband, God rest his soul, left me all the money I need. But money can't buy everything, can it? Unless you know the right people.
Maybe I am the right people, Grandma. Why don't we go inside and talk?
All right.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind. In frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts